Hey, Danny, thank you so much for being with me on the Purposeful Mindset podcast. Bro, I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. I know we just kind of catched up just before I hit record. And honestly speaking, before today, I never even knew who you were. I obviously checked out your bio. I looked into what you're up to, what your business is all about. And I was just like, firstly, I was inspired by your story, which for all the listeners, make sure you guys go and check the story because you can find Danny's story all over the internet. But today is just going to be, Danny's going to be sharing his 5 top lessons in life, business with you all, I'm already super excited to just listen to what he's going to share. He was telling me like, he's just like me when he does his keynotes, he just goes out there and he's just himself. He puts out pure energy and love into the conversations and the speeches that he does. And as you guys know, that's exactly what I do. I gave a whole whole TEDx speech with like no rehearsal, like nothing. I just like planned 1 week ahead and I just gave that talk because I honestly believe in the human connection, and me in my personal growth journey, just becoming confident has allowed me to just connect with people, being myself and not having a script. So Danny, I'm super grateful to have you on the show, man. And I want to just go straight into it and I'm in listening mode. I want to learn from you today, man.
Thanks for having me. I'll tell you what, when you said, just then that, you get a week's worth of, you practice for a week before your TEDx. I'm normally a day or a couple of hours. Like if I do it too far ahead, I'll just forget what I'm doing anyway. And I'm better off just running with it.
Winging it, yeah.
Yeah, winging it. That's it.
I love that, man. Yeah. No, but what I said was so the Saturday before, so my TEDx was on a Friday, and the Saturday before it, I only just like made them, you have to do a presentation because they wanted to do it fancy. Yeah. So I put like 9 slides together, and dude, the 9 slides had like, each slide had like 1 picture on like 2 words. Yeah. That's what it was. The rest, and that was just for me not to be confused, so I just stay on point.
Oh, you're exactly the same as me. I've done a few keynotes and they've said, "Can we have your presentation after?" And I said, "Yeah, no problems, but it's not going to make any sense to you. It's just pictures.
Yeah,
it's pictures and 1 keyword, because then I just remember what I've got to say on that slide."
Exactly. I love that, man. And I'm sure you can agree with me. Like when we see our slides, we can just tell from the picture or from the words, this is my life. So I should already know what happened in my life. I don't have to read off the screen, right?
Exactly. I found that the few ones that I did where I read off the screen, I was very boring and it wasn't engaging. And, one thing about me is I am dyslexic. So when there's a lot of words on the screen, I start panicking, if that makes sense. And I just don't have my self feel. So that's why I keep it very simple. What do they say? Keep it simple, stupid. So that's what I do.
Love it, man. Awesome, bro. I want to get straight into it, man. I really want to know, what would you say are your like top 5 lessons that you've learned throughout your journey, your life, your business? Because I know your story obviously is super inspiring on how you started your company and what you're up to, and also the really hard times that we've just been through. So what would you say like are your kind of top 5 things that everybody listening can go and just literally take action on today?
The first one's resilience. You've got to be persistent, and especially during now through COVID and stuff. It really hits home that you've got to love what you do, and you hear people say it all the time. You watch movies like Jobs. So Steve Jobs says it all the time. Bill Gates, Gary Vee. Everyone said, David Meltzer. They all say that you got to be passionate about it, because if you're not, I've had a few businesses before this in the tech side when I was dabbling while I was still doing plumbing. I did plumbing during the day and then tech of the night and dabbling. And I started those businesses on the pure note of trying to get out of plumbing and make money. That was it. And they actually failed because when it got too hard, I just gave up. And one of it was a photo sharing app and stuff. And, I think everyone started a photo sharing app when Instagram got bought by Facebook for $1 billion. They all started that, and I was included in that. So when I started the business, I didn't focus on, I focused on the problem and not the money. If you focus on the problem and you're passionate about it, the money will come later on. Another point is, don't be afraid to try something outside your comfort zone. I went from plumbing to tech, and to be honest, I brought people in, partners, to help commercialize the product and so on. And I assembled an kick-ass team. I put them up against any team in the world now, whether it's big company, small company, they're the best. Is when you focus in on the product side of it, and you get results. You know, if you're passionate about it. So, you know, that's, I sort of can't really stress that enough, because it is a big key factor on that. And then, you know, as I was saying, you know, when you go from one industry to the other, it can be done. You know, you bring people in that's smarter than you to help you with it, so you can learn. So I learned everything. I self-taught myself everything in the translation industry, like AI and all that, just in my industry. I didn't need to know what other, you know, how blockchain works and all that. I do now, but I didn't know how. I just had to have a laser focus on what we were doing and self-teach myself. So you've got to work twice as hard than someone in the tech industry. In my case, in the tech industry, because I didn't come from there to get recognised. So if there's anyone out there thinking, oh, you know, I'm a plumber, for example, but I've also I want to do, you know, tech or, you know, law or whatever it is, nothing's stopping you from doing that. You can go off and do it, but you just got to be prepared to hear a lot of no, people saying the word no, and resilience, and putting the extra work in. The way I see it is, you know, if anything was ever to happen in the early days, I have an advantage over someone that is in the tech industry that would have started this, because if something happens, I can go back and do plumbing. Well, I've got a trade, I can go back, and everyone's looking for a plumber. Whereas, you know, someone in the tech industry, if they fail, that's their industry. So, you know, they've got to kind of get a lot of self-confidence back to, you know, maybe get a job or whatever it is. But having said that, failure as an entrepreneur is one of the people like that. It's sort of like life skill.
Yeah, if you don't fail, I don't think you learn anything in life in general, right? Like, I think a lot of people are scared to fail. I think literally just like, you know, today someone was like, I was messaging someone on social media, and they were asking me about failure. They're scared to fail. And like, I just said 2 words: fail faster. Like, I was like, go and fail more, man. Like, you haven't tasted nothing. Like, you haven't failed enough in your life, or you haven't got rejected enough in your life to become resilient enough to just be like, this is just another thing. It just happens. It's part of life. And the more you go through failure, actually the more resilient, the more stronger, the more mentally tougher you become. So I think I always tell people, when it comes to failure, also resilience as well, just to stay resilient, and to go out there, like, love rejection. Start loving rejection. Like, shift the mindset from, I'm scared to fail, to, you know what, I'm gonna go and fail more, fail fast, learn, and just love rejections, because that's how you're gonna grow.
Definitely, it's, you know, it's about lessons. And, you know, I have a lot of people coming up and asking, you know, do you have any regrets? And you sit there and you think, okay, yeah, but I don't call them regrets. They're lessons. You know, I do regret a lot of things, and but that's not what it's about. It's about taking the lesson from that and execute next time you do it. And that's how, you know, with Lingmo, what we've done is, you know, a lot of lessons. I've learned a lot of lessons in Lingmo, because it's, you know, we've gone through the ranks. But the lessons that I learned when I started you know, the other couple of businesses that in the tech industry where they failed, I learned those lessons and implemented them here. And, you know, for, you know, someone that's you know, for example, that you spoke to today, or you messaged today, if people are wanting to start a business, and this wouldn't be for everyone, but I've got 3 sons. So if, you know, you don't like rejection, or you don't like hearing the word no, or, you know, you're very self-confident of, you know, people, you know, putting bad comments to you, go coach an under-6 football team. I'm telling you now, I coached an under-6 football team here in Australia, and you learn very quickly. Kids are very honest. And you can't, you know, you got to wipe it off, you know, sort of water off a duck's back, and away you go. You know, that's when, with the keynote speaking and everything that I do, you know, I bring it back to that point, because you sit there and you go, you know, I never liked to speak in public. I never liked rejection back then and all that. But then you got, you know, 15 sets of parents watching you, and you've got these little, you know, 5-year-old guys and girls that being brutally honest with you with the way that, you know, they don't want to do this drill or whatever it is. And it's a reality check. So, you know, it's not that not everyone can do that, but if you're worried about self-confidence and stuff, you know, just speak to a kid. They're brutally honest. Where us as adults are we're not on. We are honest, but we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. Kids have no filter.
Doesn't matter what age you are, they'll just say whatever to you. Like it
That's
doesn't
it.
matter, right? And I think we like I personally I learn a lot from kids. Like whenever I go out, it might sound a bit weird and freakish, but like when I see kids anywhere, whether outside, whether I'm working out or I'm just going out somewhere shopping or something, and I see kids, right? Like I genuinely just love watching them because by the way, I'm a visual learner, so like I love learning from either watching or listening, but more from like watching and actually physically doing it myself. That's how I learn best. And so I love observing, like whether on social media or offline, when I see kids like in the real world, and I just see how they're acting with their parents or their other siblings. It's just so interesting, like how just from their actions, you can genuinely learn a lot just from watching them. Like you could be like, wow, look, this one's crying, which means they want something, and they're gonna constantly keep nagging until they get it, right? That's like us in life. Like people say to me, how did I get my TEDx talk? When I got my TEDx talk, they used to loads of questions. Always like one of the biggest questions was, how did you get your TEDx talk? Because at the time I basically only just had a personal brand. I never really had a business. It was coming. It was up and coming. So I just told them, I stalked every organizer, like TEDx organizer in the UK. I emailed them, I messaged them, and I consistently just kept harassing them until I just needed one person to say yes.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I get asked because I was on the when I did a keynote in Vegas. I was on the biggest billboard in Vegas. So literally above. I don't know if you've been to Vegas, but above Bubblegum Shrimp, there's a massive billboard. I was on that for 7 days, and I actually laughed because next to it was a little one of J-Lo, and I said for the week I was bigger than J-Lo, but
that was a good feeling, right?
It's a good feeling. But I had the same people ask. They said, "How did you get on such a big billboard for 7 days?" I said, "I just asked the question." I don't, when I was there, I had another friend that was up there as well. I said, "How did you get up there?" And he goes, "I just went and asked so-and-so." I said, "Okay." So I went and asked so-and-so. I said, "Yeah, no worries." Like, told them the story. They weren't going to put anyone up there. Told them the story of, how the company was founded, because it was all about IBM up there. And they said, "Yeah, no worries. Come for a photo shoot tomorrow." So it's just about asking. That's the thing. You got to ask questions. What goes through my head now is I ask any question, and what's the worst thing I say is no. Like if you get in your head, the worst they're going to say is no, and you sort of prepare for the worst. And you go, "Oh, okay, well, I'll just walk away." But then when you say yeah, they say yes. You go, "Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. I wasn't expecting them, but let's go."
And those are the best yeses, right? The unexpected ones.
I know.
Holy shit, I got it.
that's it. You just go, "Oh, okay," and then you go, "When's it going to be up there?" And then that was the funny thing because we're in the States, and the photographer, I hadn't had my professional photo taken ever. And I had to get makeup and all that. And and the guy's taking a picture, and then next thing you know, like there was all curtains around me. And next thing you know, this lady just popped out with a little brush thing and put it on my face. And my face must have looked like, "Oh shit, what are you doing?" And then the photographer just lost it because he goes, "You've never had this?" And I said, "No, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know why I got makeup." And so it was those are the best experiences. They really are.
Yeah, you're right, man. I love that. It's super cool. And I remember I remember the times, like all the times in my life when I got those unexpected yeses, but before that unexpected yes came a lot of other rejections, right?
Oh, heaps of no's. You get used to the word no. That's why when you're shocked when they say yes, you go, "Oh, okay, well, I was expecting no."
Exactly. So it's powerful as well, because I think, again, for me, one of my life lessons was the rejections. And when I was doing an online business a few years ago for 5 years, that is what taught me, because I was in sales, and that's what really taught me rejections. And one of my mentors just said, "Sadi, you got to start failing fast, and you got to start loving rejections." And I couldn't understand, what does it mean by love rejection? Like, who in the earth on this planet, who the hell loves rejections? We all get upset by it. We all get frustrated by it. Why would you love rejection? It doesn't make sense. But as I started learning in the process and getting rejected, I understood that he meant that life is like a numbers game. Like, you just go through the numbers, and out of every 10 people, one may say yes.
Yep.
Or whatever the ratio is for you. You have to go and figure out what your specific ratio is. But our only mission is to keep going out and asking, and just being consistent as asking. And also giving. I think asking and also giving. So give, and then maybe ask every now and then. But if you don't ask for help, if you don't ask for anything, you don't get anything in life. Nobody does anything for you.
no, you got to get used to being uncomfortable. That's where, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to get used to being uncomfortable.
Definitely.
That's where it's at.
Yeah, love it. I love that. Yeah, man, that is good stuff, Danny. Man, I'm so far. I'm loving this conversation. It's been already so much. Like you probably have shared already like 3 things just there in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even count. So
Yeah,
that's
same here. Like, I'm just enjoying the conversation, but I reckon you shared probably about 3 things. But like, what other things would you say? Like, what would you say is something maybe that in your journey was kind of like, let's say, unexpected? Like you wasn't expected this in maybe in your business or in your journey so far.
um probably the thing that was unexpected to me was when we did a lot of work in the early days of the company, focusing our language translation solutions around consumers, so travelers, business
Yeah.
travelers, and so on. And in 2017, we did up a fully independent translation earpiece. So you just put it on, didn't connect to any phone. It had a SIM card in there, so we designed it all. We made it. It took about 6-7 months to design and make it, and then we launched it at United Nations. So I did a lot of one of a close friend now. He's a board member as well. He does a lot of work with United Nations. So we launched it in Geneva and did a big press release with IBM, and it went gangbusters. Like literally, my phone was going off its brain, and that was really unexpected for me. And the thing that picked up the most, and this is where I was a plumber till this point, because I didn't want anyone knowing, thinking our software was not up to scratch or anything, not like the competitors, because I come from a plumbing background. I didn't want anyone thinking that. And I'll never forget, we did a press release where it said Australian startup, takes on big players in language translation industry or something really long like that. And it wasn't getting picked up by any media. Then they called me up and said, do you mind if we change it? And I said, yeah, no worries. And they said, Australian plumber invents translation earpiece. It went ballistic. Like that's what I'm talking about, unexpected. Like I was in 37, and this is feedback from IBM because they're the ones that led it. I did one interview, and then that led to being in 37 of the top 40 magazine or online magazines around the world, Forbes,
Nice.
Wired, and stuff like that. And from that, that's when really people started knowing about us and the story. And that was unexpected from that point of view, which was good. But the thing that was really unexpected was how many haters out there, were in the world. Like seriously, it was just because I had people from IBM call me up and say, I didn't even know you're a plumber. And and I said, well, that's exactly what I wanted people to realize is I didn't want you knowing I was a plumber thinking our software was not acceptable or anything like that because of my background. I wanted you guys to see the software for what it was. Then, now it was a time for everyone to know. And, the haters out there just really, trolled, and it was to the point where I don't really watch, I don't really, read if there's a news, a press or anything like that, or a TV interview or that. I don't really watch it or read it. Like, I was at my wife's parents, and when I come back from Vegas, I did a interview with TV interview with the TV at Wall Street, and they were watching on TV on YouTube and stuff. So I went out and went for a walk. I said, yeah, you're not going to watch. I said, no, because you can see the comments. I said, no, I'm not watching that, because that's one thing that it was shocking to me was, how many haters there were in there because I was a plumber going to the tech industry. Like people were saying, stick to plumbing, stick to clearing block drains and leave the tech to us and all those type of things. And I thought, well, I don't need to hear, listen or see this. So, I think that was unexpected. And again, that's what you got to get used to. It's that's not rejection. It's just you got to get used to when you start getting your software to a certain level and it gets noticed, you got to be ready to hear the haters come to you, because it's either they're jealous because they didn't think of it, or they're jealous because you come from one industry to another. So you got to be ready for all that.
I think it comes down to like attention. Like as soon as you start getting some kind of press or attention on you as a person or as a company, that's it. Like there's going to be people out there that's going to be jealous about what you've done. There's probably people that had the idea in their head, right? Everyone has the idea in their head and they haven't implemented it, and you just went and did it because you were more serious about it than them, and you just took action. And so I think when you get attention, haters come that way anyways.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't mind that, and again, it's, as I say to everyone is, I did come up with the idea in the early days, but, an idea is only as good as your team. And as I mentioned before, I've got to, one of the things that if people are starting out is you start it, you do everything, but there's a certain time in the in your life and in the company that you got to bring people on that's smarter than you. And you got to, and like I wouldn't be here talking to you now if it wasn't for my team. I did come up with the idea, did all that, but it's the same as your Bill Gates and your all these guys is they did come up with the idea, but they're out now because of the team around them. And I think that's a sort of another, we'll say that's another lesson if you want to call it. That you pick your right team and they'll work through the good through the good times. Everything is on, I'm the one that does all the radio and all that. But at the end of the day, the people behind me, I'm the one that pretty much does this, and they're the ones that do pretty much everything else. Do you know what I mean? Because they're the brains behind the company. So I think that's another good lesson is pick the right people, and that's where you'll see success, when you're working as a team moving forward.
Love that. So I have a question, like adding on to that is, how do you personally deal with hate? Like, how do you deal with haters? Because for me, on social media, on social media, do you know how I deal with haters on social media? I send them a love heart, bro, a red love heart.
Oh, really?
Take this, man. You need love in your life, bro. Like, you're in such a deep, negative, bad place in your life to be sending me hate. Take a love heart, man. I want to send you love.
I've only got social media that I with friends and family sort of side of it. Some part of me in the early days, the plumber come out, and the footballer, where you sit there and go, okay, we'll come say it to my face, and we'll see how good you are on the keyboard then. But I've just come to ignore it. I really have. It's because then you say if someone, because I've only got my friends and family on my social media side of it, and we've got the business one, which is all where all our big social media goes through. And if there's a lot of haters in there, generally, again, my kick-ass team handles it. But, you either give them something, like if they're really complaining about something, like their product or, something wasn't working, go, okay, well, here's another one, there you go. If I can't do much more than give you something or return it and give you money back or whatever it is. But it's, I've just me personally, I've chose to ignore it because if you go back to them, this is what I found is if you go back to them, they're going to come back tenfold because they're angry. As you said, they're in a bad place.
Yep.
And if you sit there and, thank you for your message. And you see it all on social media all the time, actually, when there's someone writing negative about a company or something like that, they go, I'm sorry to hear, X, Y, and Z, and let's work through this. And then they come back with something even, why didn't you message me the first time? It's always something negative back. That's why I think, I've only really done this of recent, cut all the negativity out. That's what I try to do. Because if I sit there, I will focus on that. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that, you see the phones, you see some people that have, 300 emails on their phone. I'm meticulous where if there's one little, one thing next to one, I've got to look at it and see what it is to clear everything out. So I just ignore it now. I really do. And that's, especially if you're lazy, you got to be laser focused, because if you have all these haters come to you and they're hating on your product, but it is a two-edged sword. Sometimes you got to listen to some of them because it is constructive criticism about your product. So you do sometimes, you do have to read it. When I say ignore it, you don't have to reply back. But if it's someone just saying, your product's crap, I get this for free from X, Y, and Z. And you go, well, okay, that's not a constructive criticism, so I'll ignore that one. But they go, I love your system, but could you have it so we could have a feedback thing? So if there's a mistranslation, we can put a feedback, and you go, okay, well, that's constructive criticism. Yeah, awesome, and then if they write some crap after that, you just ignore that. But you got to pick and choose your battles.
Yeah, I love that. And so true. You got, just like you said, man, you got to pick and choose your battles, because constructive criticism is something that I had to learn as well in my journey. Because like sometimes people do genuinely have it comes across negative, but it's not. It's actually kind of like indirectly they want you to improve whatever it is you're doing as a business or as a personal brand or whatever you're growing. they just want you to improve, and they want that kind of say in it, which is totally cool. Let them have their say in it. At the end of the day, they making us and the company and the product look better when we improve it, right? And give them that thing, because most likely someone else will come and share the same thing at one point down the line, right?
And you'll find that if you say have someone giving constructive criticism, that it's feedback on your product, and you actually implement those feedback to how it is, and it actually makes the product better, you'll have that customer for life. I will guarantee it, you'll have that customer for life. If you ignore them, then they're going to shit can you for your life as well, business. It's one or the other. But that's generally the way it goes. And then that person, those hard people to convert to, you've been in sales, those hard people to convert into a sales for your company generally tell 10, it's like a 10 and 1 or 10 and 3, whatever it is. They'll tell 10 people. No, sorry, that's the other way around. They'll tell 3 people to come get your business, but if you're you give a bad product, they'll tell 10 people not to use it. So they're the little victories that you sit there and go, yes, I've got this person and I'm happy.
Love that. And something as well I just picked up on what you said was, negativity, it spreads like wildfire. So as you said, like I always give people the example of, like, when you go to book a holiday online and you see all the reviews of a hotel, 5 stars, 9 5-star reviews, and the 10th one is like, this hotel sucks. The staff were rude, my breakfast was cold, and and the human mind just loves to focus on negativity. It's actually wired naturally to be focusing more on the negative of anything in life. And so when you see the 9 amazing 5-star positive reviews, you look at the 10th one, you don't care about the 9 anymore. You actually don't book that hotel because of the one at the bottom.
I am a little bit different in that I get exactly what you're saying, because if it was the other way around, you got 9 negative and 1 positive, you go, okay, well, this hotel's crap. But if you've got, I don't know, because I didn't grow up rough, but we didn't have a lot of money and stuff like that. You cherish the little things. I think that's probably one big thing, is when you're in a startup and you're an entrepreneur, you cherish the little victories. That's what you gotta do. And I didn't do that in the early days. We signed X, Y, and Z customer to a memorandum of understanding. You go, okay, what's the memorandum of understanding? Okay, but you got to cherish those little things. Yep. And with what you just said, then you got your 9 good reviews, and you got that 1 bad one right down the bottom. I look at that and go, that person was a pain in the ass. It's probably one of those persons that just wants everything, and you see a comment, the wine, okay, well, if they say the beer's not cold, then okay, I wouldn't go to that hotel. That's probably a good comment. But something like the hotel staff were rude, and you sit there and go, oh, well, I'll give it a go. And next thing you know, it was just a pain in the ass person. Yeah. So, but again, I guess that's another lesson is you just got to
celebrate your wins, basically, isn't it?
It is. It's celebrate the wins, because when you're in a startup, that's where the resilience come in. They're very few and far between. But when you celebrate them, you go, okay, everyone gets up and you get you motivated to do the next thing. And I was bad for that at the early days. I really was. And anyone would tell me, you go, oh, we've got a MOU or a contract. You go, okay, yeah, no worries. And because I was always focusing on the negative now, and it was, my partner Darren is the one that really drilled it into me. He goes, these little wins, you got to get these little wins, and that's where I'm starting to do that now. And it's the mentality and the enthusiasm just rolls on from that.
Yeah, I love that, man. Honestly, I truly resonate with what you just shared, because you're right. Like, you have to celebrate every little milestone that we hit along the journey. Like, for example, over 6 years ago, dude, I was like super shy. Like, I have a podcast now, I'm a speaker, coach. Like, can you imagine me over 6 years ago being super shy? People meet me now and like, dude, you don't even give a crap about like anything. You just like say it how it is. You just speak your mind. I'm like, yeah. But it took me over 6 years to get to this level of like true resilience and like boldness and like just being myself. Because I just asked myself a question one day, which was just, why do I care about what people think about me? I want to live life just being free and just being myself. So the day I actually answered my own question was the day my life started changing.
One thing that I got taught, I was exactly the same as you. I couldn't public speak. I couldn't do anything. And I was mentored by someone that does a lot of keynotes. He's a fantastic guy. And he one question he asked me at the start. He goes, "What makes you scared to get on stage?" And I said, "What people think about me." And he goes, "I'm going to give you a little lesson that you could sit there, unless you walk on stage with no clothes on, then they're not going to forget that. But if you walk on stage and you say something and you stuff up, it seems like an eternity on stage, when in reality it's a couple of seconds. And 9 times out of 10, if you stuff up that bad, people are so focused on themselves, 5 minutes down the road, they'll forget about what you did on stage.
Yeah.
Where I was on stage thinking they're going to remember this for the next 10 years. People are so self-indulgent. They just, 5 minutes down the road, and sometimes when I don't take 5 minutes, it might be by the time you get off stage, next person comes on, they'll go, oh, what just happened?
It's so true, because something that one of my mentors taught me was like, Sadiq, no one actually cares. Like, no one actually cares about you not in the most like the baddest way. Yeah, not in a disrespectful way. Just like, no one really cares about you because they have their own challenges. They're going through their own crap in their life. So yes, they may have just seen you fail out and like made a big mistake, but like after you come off or by tomorrow, they're thinking about their children. They're thinking about their life. They're thinking about their job, their business, their career, and like they've already forgot about your stuff. Like people,
they'll only remember if you say something really that resonates with them. Like if they're struggling in life and you say that you've been doing this and this is how you say you got, how I got out of it, they will resonate on that point.
Yeah,
not the point that your stuff, emotions. Yeah, so if that's what the other thing I got taught is, if you're on stage and you feel like the crowd, you're losing them, you either throw in a joke, so laughter, or love. There's one or the other. Yeah. So you bring something in that makes them feel heartfelt, or you make them laugh, and then you get them back.
Love that. That's a powerful tip. I do agree with that. Like speaking now for a couple of years, that's definitely always works for me. I either crack a little joke or just to get them like, the energy up in the room again, or I would I'll kind of spread some love and say something deep. I think deep emotions always work, like making them feel something and resonate with that, like you said. Super powerful.
Yeah. If you stuff up, and this is the other, again, there's probably more than 5 lessons in this, but if you stuff up, whether it's on stage, in business, or whatever it is, own it. There's no point, that's the thing that really, pardon the French, pisses me off, is that if someone makes a mistake, and then they try and dig themselves out of the hole, and you get further in a hole, you just sit there and own it. You just go, look, guys, I stuffed up. That was me. Let's, I take responsibility and move on. Like you're on stage, you stuff up, you go, oh shit, sorry guys, I wasn't supposed to say that, or something like that, or do this, and humour, and people just go, well, he's just the regular guy. That's what people want to see, is a guy or girl. No, don't be fake. If you make a mistake, own it, and just be humble and a regular, guy or girl.
Yeah, authenticity, man. Just be authentic. Just be yourself. Be authentic. I think people love, especially these days, men, woman. It doesn't matter who you are speaking to, as long as you're just being yourself and you're being authentic, honest, truthful. Then people resonate with that. Like they want you to be vulnerable. They want you to be honest and authentic, because then they see you as, oh, they're just a normal person. They're not just this CEO and this title that they've been given. They're just a normal guy. He's actually like really humble. He's actually super cool. Like you can have a normal conversation with him. He's got the title and stuff, but he's actually just a regular guy. And he's really easy to come and speak to.
100%. And this is the thing, the higher up the food chain you get. So there was a big organization where I did some keynotes with, and there was a CEO of the entire Asia Pacific, and he had chief of staff and everything like that. And when I met him, he was the most nicest person. He swore at me, I swore back. His chief of staff actually crapped herself because I swore at him. But he just wanted someone to be down to earth with, and that's, that's kind of where, when I'm on stage or whatever I'm doing, this is the big, again, it's kind of another lesson is, when you start something, you can be, CEO, you can, you start your company, so you move up as management, and as you get bigger and bigger, it doesn't matter what you look like. You could be fat, skinny. I've got a full length sleeve tattoo. I'll cover it. No one knows while I'm on stage that I have a tattoo. And, I've had people say you got to laser it off, but it's my kids and my wife, and, it's sentimental and stuff like that. And it doesn't matter what you look like. It's how you react. And again, this comes back to why I didn't tell people I was a plumber. It's the products you produce. And, if I'm on stage, or, within our company, what we do for the language translation, if, we give software away to an organisation actually based in London called Stop the Traffic. So they help stop. Well, they combat human trafficking, men, women, children, mainly women, children, in around the world. So for sex slaves, organ harvesting, and stuff like that. Their issue was they couldn't translate. The people that were reporting say, "Oh, there's a little girl getting dragged through through an airport." It was coming in Russian, but they could only speak English, like on the other side. So it was the translation side. So we gave our software away for free to them, or at cost to them. We made no money on it, and little things like that about giving back makes you feel warm inside, and people don't see how you look or what you do. They see how you react. And for us to do that, I've got children. When I heard the chairman speak, it just rung. It was one of those the heartfelt. And it's giving back, and as you said before, giving and receiving is a big thing. But for us to give our software to someone to help, when you're in a country that you don't speak the language, and I was in China, and it's something, all this happened, and you hear someone that can speak English but also translating Chinese to you just in the middle of the street, you are instantly, you ground, you go, "Oh my God, thank God, I love you. You are so," it could be a guy, "I love you so much because you just translated for me what I needed." And that's the feeling of our software, what we want to bring to people. And again, it doesn't matter what you look like. It really doesn't. As long as you're producing the product and people are getting a result, as I said, you could be from any industry, look however you want. If people get on stage and ridicule and make fun of you because of the way you look, who gives a crap?
Love it. Truth, man. Truth, straight up. Like, just don't give a crap about what people think about you, and life will be much better, right?
Yeah, that's it. And it took me a long time to learn that. I really did.
Yeah, it does take everything in life takes time. I think like to learn one specific thing will take time and failures and mistakes to eventually just be like, okay, I own it and just move along and carry on with life, right? It's just everything takes time in life. Everything worth having at least takes time.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, Danny, man, I honestly, I love what you're sharing, and I could speak all day with you, man. But I love, honestly, you shared way more than 5 lessons with everyone listening.
I know.
So I'm super grateful that you shared so much of your experience, your life, kind of your journey and your mission and what you've been up to. So I have one question that I want to particularly ask you, because I know you're also a speaker, and that is like, it's just going to get a little bit deep now. So I want you to basically imagine you're on a stage. So you're given another keynote speech right now, but there's 90,000 people in the room. 90,000 people. You're in a stadium. I'm there with you. We're both on stage. And I'm like, Danny, could you share with everyone in the audience, like, your one sentence that you want to leave them with today for them to go and take action in their life? What would that one sentence that you want to help these people remember you by, and also go from today and take action in their life? What would that one sentence from you be to them? You
got me thinking now. You did say this at the start. You'd have you thinking. So
I told you you're gonna get deep, man.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it. I've mentioned it before, but I'll sort of condense it into one sentence. If I had to, leave it and leave a lasting impression on someone, it doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter where you come from. Give something a go. The worst you're going to hear is no, and persistence. Just be persistent with that journey and embrace the journey. I think it's too that's kind of, I could go on for a lot longer than a sentence. But, it's embrace the journey, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your background. You could come from the wealthiest family in the world. You could come from the slums of the world. It's about how you embrace it, take the next step, and bring people along the journey with you.
Love that, man. Powerful lesson, man. Powerful message for us to end the podcast on as well. And I'm pretty sure everybody's like gobsmacked for just listening to your lessons and what you shared, and especially that last thing, he really hit me too, because I think, yeah, man, persistence, staying resilient, and just doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter what color your skin, what race, religion, creed. all that matters is that you are adding value to someone in the world. You're helping someone, you're easing someone's life, and you're adding positivity into the world. And that's what's going to really connect and leave someone with a lasting impression about you. So I love that,
Yep.
man. But Danny, if anybody listening wants to go and like reach out to you, ask you questions about your company, your business, the products or services that you provide, or just in general, they want to learn from you, they want to ask you a question about something specific, what platforms can they reach you on the best? I would also be linking all your platforms, and any link specifically that you want them to go and check out, I will also be linking that all under the YouTube video and all the podcast platforms. But just from your side, how can anyone kind of reach out to you?
Probably the easiest way is just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty. That's one of the platforms that I do have myself. So if they, connect with me, send me a message if you want, help or ask a question and anything through that. Or go onto a website, www.lingmointernational.com. Contact us through there, and then one of my team will put you in contact with me, and we can go from there.
Awesome, man.
We have we have our socials as well. So my marketing manager is going to kill me, but I don't really know the socials of our Instagram.
I did actually realize you need to have a personal brand, bro. Like you need to really have your own personal Insta and grow that brand. Because I was trying to search your name and I couldn't find you on Facebook. I couldn't find you on Instagram. And then I typed in Lingmo and I was like, thank God, Lingmo International comes up. That's the only way I can find this guy.
I will start that now. As I said before, I had a lot of haters. So I kind of took myself off my own, say, personal branding quest, because I got to be honest, I would have lost my shit in the early days if I got all the negativity. I will start. I do have some personal branding stuff that is coming out.
Awesome, man.
But if you want to contact me through those platforms, I think that's probably easiest for now. And then hopefully in the next month or so, I'll have all the personal branding ones up.
Nice. Awesome. Guys, make sure you guys go and connect with Danny. I'll be linking everything under the podcast, under the YouTube channel if you're watching over there. And make sure you go show him some love, man. Like, he's doing big things in the world. He's going to be in a billboard around your country someday. And one day you're going to see a selfie with me and him somewhere around the world doing some kind of a keynote or something. So, Danny, I really appreciate your time, man. I'm grateful for everything that you shared. And any last messages you want to leave everyone before we end the show?
No, I think I've covered a lot of things off. Again, it's if you need any help or any questions, especially if you're going from one industry to another, just flick me a message and happy to answer any questions that you have.
Awesome. Love it. Well then, Danny, appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you taking just time out of your busy day to kind of have this conversation with me. And I'm going to make sure everyone goes and shows you some love. And I'm looking forward to see your personal brand and everything. And by the way, if you ever need anything from my side, let me know how I can be of service. And if you need any help with social media, I've been kind of building my brand for over 6 years. So just shoot me a message. I'll tell you the apps and whatever it is that I've been using. Happy to do that as well. And in the meantime, keep up the amazing work, bro. I'm looking forward to staying in touch.
No worries. Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Cool, man. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.